Cafe anyway. It's Mike Matthews.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, I have not done a podcast in so long now, and it's about time now to do one for you now. And this is episode
Mike's Daily Podcast
2500. It's Mike Matthews here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Castro Valley, and this is where Mike Matthews goes, hey, it's been good bringing this podcast to you, and I was gone for a long time to the county known as Siskiyou. Yes.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I got to check out a local radio station, a tiny little northern exposure,
Mike's
Chris in the morning
Daily
type radio station there.
Podcast.
And that was awesome. I met some wonderful people. I met that horse I was talking about. Remember that horse? I was telling you about the horse. I'm a man to see that I went and I saw a horse. I didn't see a man about a horse. I saw, actually, there was a woman who had the horse. And this horse apparently had some kind of magical powers. All I know is if you take a chair and you sit it down next to a horse and you sit down on the chair, the horse will come up to you and will sniff you and will kind of hit you with his face, with his big old long face. Why the long face? He'll do that, and he'll do some interesting things. Now, some people say, oh, he's tuned into your chakras and all that. I don't know, but all I know is this horse did exactly that. He sniffed both my feet, left to right. Then he sniffed my, I think my arms, left to right. And then he looked at me and he whinnied. He did the like right in my face. I got horse breath, which is like grass, just grass wind thrown into my face, basically.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Grass from the lawn, a lawn breeze is what that would be. And the podcast picture will be from the trip. I think maybe from that day after we saw the horses. We drove up to Ashland, Oregon, which I had never been to before. I'll post a podcast picture from that. Such a fun time. And my lovely lady friend and I had 4 days off, and my work did not bother me at all. They left me alone. We had a great time. Oh, I just got to say to you, we all need a little time off. We all need the human touch. No, wait, that's a song from what's his face? What was his face? Basil? The late great Basil, the boxer. Rick Springfield. We all need human touch. Bruce Springsteen had a song like that too. So as I do, and Joe Jackson, a couple of 80s stars. As I tend to do in the days after I come back from a trip and then I don't do a podcast for a long time. And I'm like, do I really want to do a podcast again and all that? I start thinking about what exactly is this podcast about? And do I need to change it in any way? Should I do it differently? That kind of thing. And I basically said, no, I'm just going to keep going back to it. And I probably should change it because the fact is I don't have a lot of listeners. I think the downloads and the plays that I get are probably some bot of some sort from some other country, maybe, or some nefarious government clicking on it, thinking it's something else, doing a scan, going, oh, what's this thing? And it plays my podcast, but it's not actually listening to it. So probably no one listens to this at all. That's fine. Fine. But whatever. I've just decided I'm going to do... Oh, so the podcast picture, yes, we'll do it from Ashland, Oregon. Where in Oregon, it is fascinating that they do pump the gas for you. And the nice guy who pumped the gas, he cracked some joke about the fact that things are changing, and he did one of those, back in my day, it was all styrofoam everywhere, and nowadays they recycle they don't make styrofoam anymore. And he brought that up, and that's important because you need that kind of witty observation and a back in my day statement sent to you at a gas station as you're waiting for gas. And that's what we did. Oh, maybe we'll do this podcast picture of the podcast picture of that lake, that cool stream, and that park. We walked around that park where they have all those Shakespeare plays, but there weren't any Shakespeare plays going on. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. But a lot has been going on. I recently saw there was a article in our local paper about the old man who drove into the Trader Joe's in Castro Valley, and how horrible that was, and people, I mean, the car went really, it's amazing. It's amazing anyone survived, basically. But the article was, I can't really read it because it's so dark in this cafe anyway right now. Let's see. I got a flashlight. I'm literally using a flashlight. It's that dark in here. They wrote here in the local Castro Valley forum, it has been noted that during a crisis, people come together to help each other out. No questions asked, no internal filter deciding what tribe they may belong to. They need help, and we as people step up. I saw that in action at Trader Joe's the other day. I was standing in a checkout line, content with my shopping cart of good food and treats for our weekend. I was working the Wordle puzzle on my phone, waiting for my turn to check out. Then a car exploded through the automatic exit doors. Oh, we just walked through a door we're going outside a cafe anyway? Somewhere in Castro Valley, the last place on earth.
Anyway.
Sending glass flying and plowing through the checkout stands, pushing people painfully aside in its wake. The car kept going, tires squealing as it pushed further into the store. I thought, is this an attack or an accident? I got on the phone to 911. No answer on the line. Someone else is calling. They yell out, is anyone trapped in the car? Someone checks and yells, no. The car has stopped, but now the backup lights are on. I move toward the car and the driver to intervene. Someone yells, tell him to turn off the car. I see someone go to the passenger side and tell the driver firmly yet gently, turn the car off. Now, you have to understand, basically any Trader Joe's in the Bay Area is going to be packed. Any time of day, it's just going to be packed. During the beginning of the pandemic, they shut it down completely and only let people in after a time, like one at a time, to make sure no one, was infected, and they had to wear a mask, and they tried to make the amount of space between people something like 20 feet. So they'd only let like 5 people in the store every 20 minutes. There was a line down the block. It was ridiculous. I just avoided Trader Joe's at that point. I go, if you're a store and you're being that careful and you're being that anal about it, I might as well not. I don't need Trader Joe's right now. And I haven't been back. Actually, I did go back to Trader Joe's about 6 months ago. I had to grab something, but it has completely. I used to shop there all the time. Ever since the pandemic, I have done it. Yeah, my habit's been completely changed as far as going to Trader Joe's. So there was a lot of people there. You can imagine. Their parking lots are always packed. Trader Joe's always have the smallest parking lots they can find. Actually, this parking lot shares with a church next door. So that creates an interesting vibe going on. But so I see someone go to the passenger side, this author writes, Alexander Palau. I see someone go to the passenger side and tell the driver firmly yet gently, turn the car off. He does, The danger is over for now. I look around for anyone that may need help. And there, leaning over a checkout stand, a young woman clings on in pain. I ask, "Are you all right?" She says, "No, I'm hurt." I ask, "Can I help you? You want to sit down?" I help her sit down, bracing my leg behind her so she can lean back a bit. I notice she's barefoot with a broken safety glass all around, one sandal lying a few feet away in a scatter of chocolate bars and gift cards. She's crying in shock. I ask her, "Do you want to lie down?" She lies back, then quickly employees bring over flat cardboard to cushion her back against the hard floor. Someone else brings over some of those insulated reusable bags as a pillow. So her knees apparently were hurt. She called her husband. Somebody gave her a phone. Tries to tell him what happened. Employees come by pushing a cart filled with frozen bags of corn and peas. We start laying them on her wounded areas, her knees and legs. Sirens now. Policemen coming through, assessing who needs help. Then they were there. The EMT stepped in, asking EMT questions, assessing her wounds, calling for a stretcher, cutting off her sweatshirt so they could work freely. And basically jumping to the end here. But through it all, people were good, with a capital G. People didn't panic or yell. People reached out to help each other in a time of need with care and concern, both personal and later professional. We did good, people, thanks to Trader Joe's people and thanks to all who helped heal the hurt and chaos that by accident brought us together for a moment and revealed the beauty of our community spirit. He says by accident. Who drives into a Trader Joe's? And I still have not gotten a straight answer about this guy who drove into the Trader Joe's. I know he's an old man. I hope this man never drives again. I hope his driver's license was torn, was burned right there on the spot, and that he is completely banned from ever driving again. This it drives me crazy. I've seen it before. I've seen this before where old people drive bad. My mom was a bad driver. I thank God that she got through her entire life and never ended up causing an accident in her old age. I mean, she was so she could barely see over the dashboard. Anyway, cafe anyway. Gotta know when to fold them, I guess. It's tough here in California because to be elderly and getting around and all that, it's not easy, I understand, but this was just a bad example of what can happen when seniors are driving. Certain seniors are driving. I mean, there are some really good... My dad could drive really well up into his later years. But my mom, wow. Anyway, cafe anyway, outside of cafe anyway, somewhere in Castro Valley. I need to get back to doing this podcast more regularly. I haven't done a podcast since the trip. I think the last one I did was the Sunday before. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was so busy, could not do a podcast. And then we were off Thursday, so it's been over a week, well over a week, almost 2 weeks. And I got to get back to doing this daily because it is called Mike's Daily Podcast. And thank you for listening. And look who's here. Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega. What? Madame Rootabega. Oh, yeah, that's right. And welcome back from your trip, Michael Masu. Oh, thank you. Do you like Mount Shasta? Yes. Do you like Ashland, Oregon? Yes. Do you like Trader Joe's? No. It's probably because the parking lots are too small. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, we heard that you went to some place called Shasta. Yeah, Shasta. Do you know that? Yes. And interestingly enough, we probably didn't have to drive that 4.5 hours to get there because there's a Shasta in Hayward. Actually, it's the Shasta Cola Factory. Not quite the same thing. But the show is modeled slightly after a country show I used to do back in the late 90s, early O's. Let's go back to the early O's, shall we? And we're going to hear a little bit of... The show was called the Santa Fe Cafe. And I'm going to take you back. I'll take you there, as the song goes. I'm going to take you back in time to when we did that particular program. If this cooperates. Let's see. I might have to do a little this and that to make it happen. It's not playing. Okay. Well, the Santa Fe Cafe, it was in Ventura County, California. And we would have interesting people call in. Santa Fe Cafe was technically from about 9:30 at night till midnight. And people would call in, and this was during the day and age when we didn't have, everybody broadcast now. Everybody was kung fu fighting. No, everybody was broadcasting back then. Or they're broadcasting now, is what I'm saying. And that is not opening, so I'm going to turn that off and use a different way to play you this cut. This is from early 2003. Play anyway. Here we go. T-shirt. All right, let's hear your good burp. Okay, that's a psych joke. Oh my gosh. You're insane.
Did you record that one? Please tell me you did.
Yeah.
That has to be the finale.
If I did record it, what would you do with it? Like, make it a single? Release it as the next single?
No, you have to put that as the finale of me.
All right, that was the finale burp right there.
All right, did you record it?
From Felicia's finale, 100.7 KHAY. The K-Hey Santa Fe Cafe. No, it is not Great Belch Night. It's What Do You Hate Most About Computers Night at the cafe. And is this still Felicia, or is this your mom, Kim?
No, this is still Felicia.
Okay, well, Jesse, our bouncer, wanted to say something.
Okay.
I really can burp really good, but I can't do it right now.
All right.
Because I'm being classy. I'm trying to be classy.
You gotta have some fun.
In fact, right now, I have to throw you out because you guys are being really rambunctious and I'm a bouncer. So let's go this way out
I've never
to the
been
front.
thrown out by a bouncer. You can't start now.
John Conley with Common Man. Okay. That was with Jesse. Jesse was there. Okay. Yeah. It was burp night. That went rather well. A lot of people were calling in back then. But nowadays, people never call radio stations because they're busy broadcasting on their own stuff. The power that radio had has gone to everyone. And people they're doing the live Instagramming and Facebooking and whatever else, YouTubing. What's the thing? Not the Twitter. Not the Twitter that's having issues with Elon Musk yet again. The TikTok. That's right. Okay. And now, that was the segment, by the way, called Let's Go Back with Matthews. As we go back to Mike's earlier days, I've been in radio for over 30 years, and odd things happened in my early days. So, this is a artist by the name of Moi Tzu. Hong Kong British artist Eva Liu navigates the tricky territory of the ever-changing identity, emerging fantasy, and folklore to create a stage for self-acceptance and deliverance. Her debut full-length album is Rotten Bun for an Eggless Century. And here on the segment that we are now in, that is called the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud, I'm going to play a song from her called Rotten Bun. Let's listen a little bit to Rotten. There's a little bit of Rotten Bun, and that is by the performer known as Mui Chu, I think is how you say it. Okay, do you like that song better? Or do you like, and people can email me at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Una Rose. I'd like to introduce you to my dad, Gene. Lifelong leftist, grumpy, intellectual, furious optimist. At the end of 2019, he visited me in Montreal just before the New Year's. We did what we usually do, talk politics, watch movies, and drink beer, dad stuff. I began writing resolutions after he left, thinking that through our complicated relationship and what I get from our conversations. So resolutions, let's see if this works. I can listen to it on Bandcamp. Excellent. And so this is called Myth Between by Una Rose.
I'm only here for the myth between. And if you ask to be in the same clean light again, I'll gladly grab you a chair. Isn't that a deal? Isn't that good news? Isn't that God in the atmosphere?
So that is Una Rose. Which one did you like better? Did you like Myth, Mewtwo, or Una Rose? You can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, or give me a call at 336-MM Daily.
Call now, 336-MM Daily.
That is 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast will try to be henceforth. We'll see how we do. I'd like to say a shout out to Dennis Michaels, who runs the radio station up in Mount Shasta called Z100. Very nice guy. His format is basically classic rock and everything that entails. I mean, it almost goes back to the 50s all the way up through parts of the O's. And he had like Sammy Hagar's got a national radio show. I think someone named Terry St. James. Oh wait, no, that was somebody back at K-Tide, back in Santa Barbara, back in the days when I was there in the 80s, or living in I didn't work for K-Tide in Santa Barbara. It's still there. But I worked crosstown at the Top 40 station Y97, which I've played clips from that before. Do you want to hear a clip from that real quick as we wrap up the show? Why don't we do that real quick as we wrap up the show? As we do that. Oh. Yes, here we go. Okay, Y97. Back in Wow. All right, this is New Year's Eve, 1990. I think if we can get this to play. This is Google and it can be a little...
Most Music 197 and Mike Matthews on the top 97 of 1990. Coming in at number 55, this is MC Hammer and Pray.
Oh, that's why we... There you go. That's back when I was there. The point being that... this guy, Dennis Michaels, had a pretty cool station. And it was fun listening to very kind of rock of all sorts of ages and even some 1950s stuff thrown in. So that's at Z100. If you're you can find them on the internet. If you look them up with the word Shasta in there, you can Google it, Bing it. What's that other thing that you hear all the time? There's Ask Jeeves. Is that still around? No, I think it's just Ask and whatever else search engine you like to use. And I think that's pretty much it. So what did you think? Which song did you like better? And what did you think? Did you miss me? And what did you think of FF episode 2500? You can let me know at the places I mentioned earlier, or what A-Frame has to tell you right now.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!